Welcome to It's Your Time to Shine. I'm your host, Christoff J. Weihman. This is the show where we interview influencers, authors, speakers, small business owners, and people who are making a positive impact in the world, and we give them the platform for them to shine. It's my great pleasure to introduce my good friend, David Chametzky. Let me tell you about David he's already here, but let me tell you about David. David is a #1 best-selling author of 2 books, Cracking the Rich Code and The Power of Proximity. He is a Tedx speaker, and he hosts an internationally ranked podcast called Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. He assists people who are ready for higher levels of living and succeeding on their path to powerful personal growth, allowing you to find your time to soar. Please welcome my good friend, our guest, David Chametzky. How you doing, David?
Hey, pretty good. I'd like to meet that guy.
Yeah, sounds pretty cool, doesn't he? Well, welcome. David and I have known each other for a few years on social media, like many of us, and I had the pleasure of meeting him in person back in April of this year at an event that we were both at with the one and only David Fagan. And David just participated in our ultimate speaker competition recently in Philadelphia. So I got to be in your presence twice in the last 90 days, which was pretty cool. Let's go to the not to the beginning, but just, a little bit of a background about who is David Chametzky, where'd you grow up, and a little bit of your history in a brief fashion.
Yeah, well, just after I talk to a few minutes, you'll know I'm from the New York area. I grew up in Brooklyn. I was actually not born in New York. I was born on an Air Force base in Texas. So
oh, wow.
I always tease people. I go, the accent's from Texas. It is not, but born regular blue collar growing up, and you go through life's challenges, right? And going through life's challenges brought me on a path to learn some techniques on how to heal people and or assist them to heal. We don't do any of the work. It's bringing people knowledge. And once I started doing it, I was changing lives, and I was like, wow, this is really what I was made for. My bachelor's degree was part of behavioral sciences, so I knew a lot of stuff. That wasn't the area I lived in my career. I've been in corporate America legal for 30 plus years, and it's a great job. I love it. But where my passions really lie is assisting people, and I do a ton of charity work. You and I have spoken about that pay it forward, or because it's me in the New York accent. I know some people.
I know somebody.
Yeah, I know. I used to say I know a guy, and then a woman was like, "You don't help any women's organizations?" And I go, "I do." So that's why I try to change it. I know some people. I do. It's good. We all know somebody, right? I'm using the Brooklyn accent, but we all know somebody. You all know somebody who needs help or who's willing to help. And in a great community like yours, Christoff, there's so many givers who want to help out. And what can they do, even in the smallest ways? And our mutual friend Frank Shankowitz used to say, "Hey, Michelle, our mutual friend used to say, everybody could do something. It's not about only money. If it was only money, the problems would be solved immediately. It's by showing up and doing the work." So that's how I got here. I started a podcast a couple of years ago, and it's just really pushing forward some amazing messages, and that's why you and I connected in brothers from another mother, right?
Yeah, exactly. You recently had an article. I'm very excited for you. Congratulations. You had an article in the Los Angeles Tribune just recently, and
in the magazine. So they have both the Los Angeles Tribune, which is separate from the magazine. So I have had an article in the Tribune once, and just recently that article is in the magazine,
the Los Angeles Tribune magazine. So I want to share a little bit, if I may.
Sure.
It's called Finding the Sweet Spot to Change Lives. Sometimes just holding a bat and taking that swing reminds us of what the sweet spot feels like and why it brings us such joy and brings us back so often. The sweet spot is the place on the bat where it generates the most power and affords the most control. and comes with the feeling that everything is aligned optimally. So let's talk about that.
Sure.
Where does we're on StreamYard right now, and some people are watching us on video, but this is going on to an audio podcast, so we can't show. We're not going to show photos, but we have many pictures of you holding the bat, swinging the bat. Your podcast is called Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. So tell me about David's experience and your history with this game of baseball. Well, what's that all about?
Well, baseball, it's brought a lot of challenges in our lives, but really, I was just trying to play on the New York accent with the podcast name. But the bat, the more that you think about the metaphors and things like that, and it's really not, even though I do have the bats and the images, it's really more about bringing that magic that you have within yourself, those non-negotiables, what you need to have in your life, and what you do when you have those. Those opportunities to know what you want, where are your boundaries, and respecting those boundaries. And, there is that special part about when you hit a swing a bat. When we were at that April event, I had a couple of people who swung the bat. They asked, can I swing the bat? And it's not about violence. It's about swinging and the memory we might have. And even during the speaking competition, one of the speakers who was having some challenges had never swung a bat in her life. I said, come on outside. I taught her how to swing. It got her to move the energy. How do we move our energy? Wow. And that's one of the things that we talked about, and I use as something we want to do. Much like how in other events there might be board breaking, with a bat, I like saying, focus the ball on something positive you'd like to knock out of the park. And anybody who doesn't has ever experienced that, once you feel it once, you know what the sweet spot is. If you hit it right, it might have gone into somebody's glove. But that doesn't mean you didn't hit it right. It's not always, doesn't always have to be a home run. Line drive singles are just as good when you think about a lot of things. And I was just recently at a veterans event, and I have this batting net, and so I was out there trying to show people how to get past some energy. And this gentleman was swinging the bat first, and he said, I hadn't swung a bat since I was a young kid. He goes, can I do it again? And for about 10 minutes, and then he started crying. He goes, the memories. He goes, and I wasn't a star. He goes, but the memories I had and the feeling you just gave me, he goes, you made my day. And those are the type of things that you just don't know about, and the opportunities that you might have by finding out how to move your energy in the right way.
That's amazing. Wow. I love it. I am not a fan. I made a comment on your when your article in the Los Angeles Tribune magazine came out. I made a comment that I loved the article. I'm not a baseball fan at all. My wife does not. My wife, Michelle, is a huge fan, and she's from St. Louis, and it's a requirement to be a citizen of the city of St. Louis. Probably like other cities as well. But I did not grow up watching baseball. I played a little bit, pickup ball, but it just wasn't something that was a part of me. But when I read your article, it just clicked. There was so much that resonated with me, and it is a great metaphor. And what you just said a minute ago, doing that, offering people that opportunity, somebody that may not have picked up a bat for years and years, it brings back maybe some powerful, positive memories for them. I think it's something very unique, because you're the only person I know that really uses that metaphor, that uses the batting, the batting net. Is that it?
Yeah. And it really is important to do that, because we all have to figure out how to move our energy. And the work that I do when I really sit down with some serious work is about energy work and about moving the body energy, as well as how we see things, that fight or flight response system. So when we learn different ways to do it, or a way that might feel that much differently for us, that's what we want. That's what the sweet spot is. It's bringing that memory. So like for you, maybe just getting up on a stage, maybe the first time that, I know you preached at one time, but even now, when you're on the stage and you see, like when I was on your stage and I didn't ask everybody to raise their hand, but I had my hand up and then I saw a bunch of hands in the room. I'm like, I got you,
Yeah.
which is exactly what you want to do as a speaker. You want to get them. And that's the sweet spot. That's the, I know what I'm doing type of idea. And when you know what you're doing, or when you want to overcome something, if you've done the board breaking, when they say, performance, it might be something that people do, and you break through that board and you can do it. It's sweet, man. It really is. And I like using, I did grow up playing ball. I like the metaphors, but I try to move a little bit away from it, only because when most people see the bat, they think of the violent part of the bat. I want to show them actually the soft side of things.
But you're reclaiming that. So you're reconfiguring in people's minds. It's not bring a bat so I can knock the crap out of you, but it's giving that energy to the people. I like that you are switching, the paradigm or the initial thought, somebody from New York coming in with the bat, right? Okay. Yeah.
It's bringing an awesome thought. So what I do is I
bring an awesome thought. Bring awesome thoughts. BAT. There it is. I wondered about. There it is. Bring awesome thoughts. That's your bat, people.
There you
That's
go.
Fantastic. Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. Who inspires you, or who are some of your influencers? I guess growing up or as an entrepreneur. Like, how did you get where you're at?
I don't know how I got where I got. I really believe at sometimes it's the man upstairs, and I'm not that religious because in many ways, lots of things could have gone on the way. I've had mentors along the way, people who have just given me advice. I mean, like I talk about it all the time. When I was 18, there was a 60-year-old gentleman. I used to bowl, and he said, "Kid, just wait. Once you get out of school, time flies, and all of a sudden you're going to notice you're going to be an old man." And I'm like, what does he know? What the, and all that stuff. And, a couple of years ago, I'm looking back at my goddaughter and things like that, who was 18. And I'm like, yeah, wow. Like here I am, not the old man yet, but, definitely age-earned wisdom has come my way. And that's the one thing I wish I would have had earlier, in a lot of different ways. The person who I was before was not a bad person, but I didn't do things. I was, there's times I can get loud. There's times I could do things in a not in the way that's authentic. And now I'm more authentic. That's why when you saw me on that green suit, not many people walk in a green suit and can own it. And
that's
who I am. That's my Superman suit. I love that suit.
That's fantastic. And those who are listening, it's not green. It's like teal green, right? I mean, it's very specific color. And you've got the bat, that's the same color. You've got the sunglasses, the same color. Like that is your superhero suit for sure. You're still in corporate America. And like you said, you've had a 20, 30 or so year career in that. When did the shift happen where you decided that I'm going to, at the same time that you're maintaining that, you're stepping into, being an author, being a speaker, being a coach, all these things that are really a different track than what's, normal corporate America. So how did this come about? What began to spark that?
It came back, God, the universe works in mysterious ways. And so like I shared, I had my bachelor's degree in behavioral sciences. That was not where I pursued my career. It was in legal and corporate, and I've been blessed beyond compare with those opportunities. And, about 6 years ago, maybe 8 years ago, actually, I got into some challenges with my wife and with my family. And I put myself into therapy. And I started learning one of the techniques that reset button is part of the havening techniques, is about rubbing your hands. And it goes deeper than just rubbing your hands. And I was like, why is this working? I asked the therapist, why is this working as quickly as it is? He goes, you're different than most people. He goes, and I mean that in a good way. He goes, you're one of those rock stars, Hall of Fame people who put in the efforts. Most people will go to therapists and say, okay, I work from 1 to 2 with my therapist, and then you go home and do the same things over and over again. I like breaking my patterns. I like breaking other people's patterns, and to enhance their lives, not just to break patterns So I started learning these things, and around that time there was the training right here on Long Island where I live to get certified for it. I started doing that, and as part of the certification, you have to work with 30 people to overcome challenges in their life or whatever they need to do, and I did. And I was like, wow, I had friends come over to me and like, what did you just do? I had been carrying this particular issue with me for a long time. And now I'm fine. In fact, I volunteered with some veterans, and the veteran called me up, a Vietnam veteran. He goes, and he used a different language, so I will not use that language. Don't worry. But he was like, what did you do? What did you do? I go, what? I won't use his name. I go, what do you mean? He goes, I don't have those dreams anymore. He goes, it's been a week. He goes, I've had dreams for 50 years and now I don't. What did you do? I go, I didn't do anything. I go, I know how they teach this technique and that people touch each other. I go, I didn't touch you. You did it all yourself, which is, to me, is one of the most important lessons that we give to everybody is if I can empower you to do you, you don't need me. That's where I'm blessed in a lot of ways. I don't want people to rely on me and, I got to go to Dave. I'm in the middle of a problem. I got to go to Dave. That's great. And I don't mind doing that. But I'd rather you go, Dave, I tried all the things you did. It didn't work, or I couldn't get there today. Can we work together? Which is a different attitude. I want to empower as many people as possible because I know what it feels like to be unempowered.
Yeah, for sure. I think we all do. You got some projects coming up. You got some speaking gigs. You're going to be at a big event in September, I believe. You want to tell us about that?
Yeah, it's the love event, right? So if you're going to be peace, love, and bring them back, you got to bring love.
David Chametzky's got to be there, right?
Got to be there. It was originally in February, and I tried to get in, and then it was rescheduled because of a bunch of different logistical on their end. And when it came back again, I was like, I have to be there. So I've spoken to a couple of different people, and then people are reaching out to me, dude, you got to be at the love event. And I always say to you, and I've said to you before, I love when there's events on the East Coast because of the challenges I have with my daughter. I don't want to leave her for too long, and East Coast trips are easier than the West Coast trips. Not that I don't mind getting on a plane. I used to do a lot of traveling as part of my corporate America job. So I was like, yeah, I'm there. Like,
so the love event, this is produced by Bernardo Moya, who is also the creator of the Best You expos that were actually all over the country. And I believe the last one was in England, was in London, right before everything shut down. Right. And now he's coming back in it with this other brand, the Love event. What are you going to be talking about there?
Love. I mean, there's so many different ways. I'm going to be on a couple of different panels. We're going to talk about unconditional love. That, even if you're not connected to the same person and you want to send somebody love, you can do that. That's energetically, you can do that. I don't see all my daughters all the time, but I send my daughters love all the time. I mean, it's like your prayers. When you're praying for somebody who might not be in the room with you, or you might not be in your life, those prayers still work. You're sending out that love and that energy, and that's, really what we're going to do. And, I know there's so many people that are going to be there. It's going to be incredible because, our buddy David Fagan is also connected with it. Danella, Mo Rock, like really all of our friends. I mean, I know last year in February, Greg Reed was going to be there. So it's like everybody's going to be there. And for me to be part of this, it really helps me because it resonates, but it also, I knew that I needed the opportunity, like most of us. And by getting that opportunity and then being on, this ultimate speaker competition, and then feeling like I belong in that room, like when we met in April with David Fagan's event, I walked in, not sure, that sort of that self-doubt, that imposter syndrome, but I walked out going, okay, I'm not the best, but I belong in that room. And by knowing you belong in the room is a huge opportunity to do amazing things, and I am blessed beyond compare. I have a book coming out right before, actually, at the Love event. I'm finishing up the cover, and you're the first person I've said publicly to that we're gonna have a book coming out.
Tell us about it. Come on.
Yeah. Well, it was originally, so that I have this idea about the R in heart, and it's more personal than that. We all have an R in your heart. Resilience and rising and things like that. And I was pitching this book, and they were like, "I don't get it. I don't get it." Oh, but I have a shirt. Come on, I have a great shirt. There's an R in your heart. Okay, I like it. I like the imagery. I like that. But get me more. Tell me, where's your sizzle? And I started sitting down with Ken Rochon, actually, and he was like, "Dude, I love what you're doing." And between my photography, I have some pictures that we put in the book, and it's going to be. I can't wait to show it out and tell. So we're gonna have I'll probably show very shortly, because we're finalizing the cover probably by the end of this week. And it's going to be pretty intense, because it's the first book that I got, where I've been on other books as compilations. I think there's great opportunities for that.
Absolutely.
It's the first.
This is your first solo. David Chametzky, alone on the cover title. That's it. David Chametzky.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. I have other books lined up, because during COVID, one of my shifts where I was writing books, and that's why I'm like, all right, how do I get the quick book out and still have it adding value? And Ken was like, I had this idea, and I spoke to him over that weekend and since, and we're just gonna hit a home run.
That's great. There's a sweet spot.
Yeah.
Why are you such a nice, kind-hearted guy?
I've been through a lot of stuff.
I wrote a note. I wrote this down to make sure I asked this question.
I've been through a lot of stuff, and I've also not been a kind person all the time. I haven't always known how things from my perspective. So from my perspective, I've always gone the right way and done the right things, but not always said the right things in the right ways. I've had challenges. I'm separated from my wife. Who is one of the R's in my life. So it really is powerful, knowing that what I did, but that's not who I was. So to be your most authentic self is to also sit back and acknowledge really who you are and who do you want to be. I want to be the person my dog thinks I am. It really is. I want to be the person who acknowledges what good I do, but what bad I do is an opportunity for me to learn and to grow. And I think that's something we need to always do.
What I know about you, David, is that you are somebody, people use this term, we use this term, play full out, at an event or just in life in general, seize opportunities, jump in. I mean, there's so many different ways we could say it. To me, you're that guy. Where does it come from, and how do we encourage and inspire other people to do likewise? Because so many people miss, because I don't know, they analyze, they are too logical thinking, or they're afraid. Just talk to me about this whole thing, this whole idea.
Yeah, that's a great question. What it is I died 3 years ago, and what I mean by that is I tried to literally kill myself. So I've shared this many times, and I also had in my head, I can't do this, I can't do that, I'll hold back, and all these things. And that wasn't why I tried to hurt myself. And I can go a little bit more into detail, but what it really is that was kid ego. That was one of my nicknames when I got through life, growing up. There was an old song, Kid Ego. And now I was told during that time when I was trying to hurt myself, it's not your time, and you need to go help people. You need to go seriously step up the game. Talk about it. Talk about mental health. Talk about real issues and be a different person. Not that person wasn't good beforehand. Let's go for, what my blended daughter used to call Dave 2.0. So now we're at probably Dave 3.0 at least. But it's all about knowing who you want to be and where you want to be. What do you have to do? What's holding you back? And the story I told during the Ultimate Speaker competition was the first time I told that story. That wasn't one of my canned stories, and it was about time. So it really relates to this. Is my friend at 55 died. He wasn't expected, and my life is for the past couple of months has changed drastically. Not only because my heart breaks for losing my friend, but also because we don't know a time. And because of that, I'm like, okay, what would I do and what would I want to have done? And I mean, look, let's take that step forward. You asked me, you're like, I think you did well. I'd love to see you on Speak Up. Are you thinking about that? I was like, done. Let's go. I mean, right before this conversation, Dave, I'd like to maybe talk to you about things in the future. Done. It's not. All right, let's figure out how to make that happen. I believe that a lot of the gifts that I've been given need to be shared. It's not my gift. It flows through me, not because of me. And that was something I didn't understand. That was kid ego. We still have an ego and things like that, but it's not my message to give. It's my stories that could help people and assist them, but it's up to them to do it.
Wow. The world needs, well, we talked about this before you came on. You said if I was any more blessed, then I would be a twin. And then I said, well, maybe the world, no, it's not the world needs another David Chametzky.
Not at all.
Maybe, no, but it's somebody says, love this. David is amazing. Facebook user. We've got, when you share your comments, we don't know who you are. If you want to say who you are, and if you have any other questions or comments, please feel free to post them here in the chat on Facebook. I think that's where these are coming in from. And we'll share them. You're doing great things. I tell you, it's really an honor to be in the room with you. You mentioned earlier about how you helped one of our speakers, and you were so kind and respectful about it. One of our, just for those who are watching, not aware, one of our speakers, it was her first time on stage, and she was having some struggle. And was it after she had been on stage?
Well, she had struggled earlier the day before, and
okay, yeah.
And then this time it was, like the competition, right? So not only did the competition could potentially scare somebody, but I saw her face and everything like that. And I know not only did she go after me, but then she also went after another really accomplished speaker, Larry. And coming after two people and somebody who might feel a little uncomfortable, I said, let's put an extra couple feeling of love. And she came up to me afterwards and was like, why'd you do that? And I go, because did you need it?
So wait, now you're reminding me, you did two things.
Yep.
You did two things. Yes. So earlier, maybe it was,
it was
during one of the exercises. So you saw that she had some challenge, and you texted me. David texted me during the event. Rather than stepping up and saying, hey, I'm going to go help this person, you texted me and said, would you mind if I offered some help to that speaker? I said, oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Yes, please do. So you went and spoke outside in the hall with her.
Yes. Yeah.
And
because
then
it's an event, and I didn't want to. Yeah, right. So that was Saturday. She had a little stage fright on Saturday, and again, it's your event. I don't want to. I'm before 3 years ago, I might have just been like, all right, this is what I'm going to do. But I want to make sure it's not about me, because if it's about me, it's led me down to dark paths that I don't want to be again. And it's your event, and I want to be respectful to you. Is it okay that I approach, I know you're an excellent speaker. You have your coaching program. I'm not trying to lean on any of that. I just wanted to help that person at that moment. And that's what we did. And that's, I took her outside, calmed her down, and got her ready for her little speech. And she was able to do it really well.
Yeah. And then now you reminded me that I think it was either when I introduced her and before she walked up on stage, or at some point you then spoke to the audience, right? And kind of share. So talk about that.
Yeah. Well, I think we're all a bunch of energy. It's exactly what I was saying earlier about, you could send love to people who might not want to receive it, or in some places. So like this young woman who wanted to get up, and let's be honest, this was among her first times getting up on stage in front of an audience. So that alone is a nervous thing.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that she understood that we loved her, even though we've all said that. But like, really, we took time to put up the energy. And, as Christoff starts the conference reminding us that we're energy beings. So let's put that extra energy to support this young lady at the event and give her love, send her love. And she was good at the beginning, and then she froze a little bit. And then, because we, as speakers, you want to try to aspire to somebody who can, not use their paperwork, their notes, but she needed her notes that time. And then she succeeded because she had that. And it's all about remembering it and not having that instance. So, I drove her home and I said, that's a great touchstone for you. And she didn't understand the word touchstone. And when I did, she goes, oh my God, yes. And that's that piece, is those memories, that swinging that bat, that sweet spot. That's the really powerful part, that if you can have enough of those touchstones to remember exactly what makes you feel good, what gets you up in the morning, that is really special.
Yeah. And it really, not that this is supposed to be all about ultimate speaker competition. It's not, but we attract who we are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we always talk about it being for heart-centered leaders. It's not about the level of somebody's experience or success. And what I just love in this community is the way that now all these different collaborations that are happening and people that are beginning to work together, and for us to have been kind of the catalyst to have people put together. When you do a live event, Zoom is great and virtual is great, but there's something different that happens when you're in the room with the people connected. There, you can feel energy through the screen. You can feel energy through the phone. You can, but it's different when we're in person. And I think that those connections tend to be, I don't know, stronger, or there's just something magical that happens. And I appreciate you stepping up like that and being supportive, because, and that's just another kind of representation. It's called Ultimate Speaker Competition. I don't even know if you guys might have been in the same category. I don't know. But here's people who are competing, not supposedly, they're competing,
mm-hmm.
and yet fully supportive of each other.
Yeah, no, exactly. In fact, the winner, Melly B, I walked in, she, on Saturday. I don't know if I said it on Friday to her, but I definitely said it to her on Saturday. I said, you're going to win this thing. And she was like, shut up. And I go, I'm dead serious. I felt, again, just the energy, the something. I can't really tell you where it came from. And after she did win it all, and we've had a couple of conversations since, she goes, you are, she goes, what the hell did you see? I go, it wasn't like, I just saw the energy, and it's not, and, no matter what level you are, you should always try to cut, steel cuts steel, right? Sharpen steel. And that's why going to this event, I was robbed. I'll say it, and I'm just completely teasing it. I gave, I gave, I think, one of the best speeches I've given in my, or talks in my life. It was the first time I did that particular talk, and whatever it was, but you need to learn from it. And what could I learn from it? And that's the idea, is growth is always learning. And it doesn't matter about this competition. Do it or don't do it. It was a great time. It's great time, great use of your time, but always grow. Figure out ways that can grow. And, and that's the real ideas. Find the people that are going to make you grow and reach up for them. And that's what it is. And the real leaders in the world are going to reach down to, and not necessarily down, across the table, work, like in a room like that. I wasn't one of the top people, but you reach across the table to everybody. And, the connections that are happening is really so important. And that's really what you want to do in life. Reach as many people as you can, even if it's just a conversation saying hello.
so much there. Find the ways that you're going to grow. Find the people that are going to help you to grow, reach across. And you are one of the top people, because it's, the accolades and the awards and the competition is for a certain period of time. The connections and the collaboration, those continue on, throughout, as long as people want to continue the story, continue the journey. Little shift. What is something that most people don't know about David Chametzky?
I don't know. I'm an open book. I think what they don't know about me is exactly similar to you, Christoff, is that they see me looking as a very serious person. And, one of the feedbacks is, hey, Dave, you need to smile a little bit more. In fact, one of the feedbacks for the talk that I gave, you need a little bit of emotion. I put my emotion in it. How it comes across might not always relate. I'm a very emotional person, both good and less good. But there's not a gray area about me. So people might know that, but they don't know how much it really hurts at times and what I do. So that's the one thing I think people might be surprised at, is how much I care. And I do. I wear my heart on my sleeve, and it's let me in good ways and bad ways, just by not saying it the right way.
Yeah, I know what that's about too. I've had that area of growth for myself as well. We have a Facebook user that says, "Hello, gentlemen. Hello. Please tell us who you are." Because on here we don't know who for some reason we don't see the person's name. Well, you mentioned this earlier. I want to highlight it a little bit more.
Hey,
my wife, Mike Maloney, Michael Maloney.
If and then we've got Marilyn Morales. Hey, Marilyn Morales. It went well. And Michael Maloney, if you remember, at that David Fager event, he also had like a moment like that, and I walked over to him also. So it's not just one person. That's why if you can help somebody, just supporting them. I mean, you can have a load of people. That's what it's about. It's about community. And if you feel you can help somebody in a positive way and using that energy, that's what your energy is for. That's why I've been gifted for a lot of things, and I've received a lot of things in my life, and I'm blessed. And I want to share that. And if people want to take it, they can. And if they don't, you never know when you plant that seed and it grows later down the road.
That is awesome. We have actually quite a few people here. JR from our event is here. Mandy Robinson, who we were connected with through Austin. Marilyn is here. If any of you would like to join us on camera, let me know and I will send you the invite. Actually, let's see if I can post this in the chat. Will it? I don't know if it will go.
Yeah, there you go. It looks like
okay.
Yeah.
If you want to join us, any of you, and you want to come and say hi to David. But the other thing I wanted to mention and kind of spotlight a little bit more that we kind of glossed over: driving. Somebody's driving. No, don't join us if you're driving. Is that my wife and I, Michelle and I, are now the executive producers of season 5 and season 6 coming up of the amazing show on Amazon Prime Video called Speak Up. It's not affiliated with TEDx. Where's the link? Tell me who you are and I'll send it to you.
I think it's JR. The link is in the chat.
The link is in the chat.
Over JR. You and I could talk later.
This show is, if TV had their version of TEDx, that's what Speak Up is. So David is the first person that raised his hand. He is going to be with us on the our first season of Speak Up, which is a brilliant platform. If you've not seen it before, go on Prime Video on your box or on your TV and watch. There's season 1 through 4 there. You'll see amazing speakers, and each episode is one speaker. So in October, we will be taking our 10 or 12 or maybe even 20 speakers to Dallas. We're going to spend 2 days, red carpet experience, full studio immersion, hair and makeup, red carpet interviews, et cetera, et cetera. And we are going to be filming Speak Up episodes. Michael Maloney says, I'm currently in a 200-degree sauna. Otherwise, I would, Michael, you stay in the sauna.
We should all be Michael Maloney. I got to tell you, man, you got to catch up. But enjoy that sauna.
Who says they can't see the link? And I'll share it to you directly.
They are, but I think he's also driving.
How awesome! What an experience. So you've got some great projects coming up, David. I'm super excited for you, and you are such a blessing to our group, to our community. Some other, maybe some final words you want to share, or something else that we may not have touched upon yet.
Well, it's like everything else. I really have the idea, the peace, love, and bring about. You understand what peace and love means. Everybody might have a different definition of that. And, when you find that sweet spot, whatever that is for you, being on a stage, being just with your family, and make sure that family, that was one of the many mistakes that I've done, is trying to chase after all the shiny things, is find your sweet spot. Get that sweet spot. Hit that sweet spot. A home run might be the worst thing that ever happens. A couple of line drives is keeping a rally going, if you're talking baseball. But find out whatever that sweet spot, what feels right for you, swing away, and make sure that you have the right balance and hit a home run.
Awesome. I love it. When and where can people find your podcast?
Podcast is everywhere. It's on, Apple. It's on Google, Spotify, Amazon Play. It's really hard to not find it. It just is a little longer than some of the other ones, but it's peace, love, and bring about. And, I'd love to have everybody contact me. If you think you could be a good guest, let's have a conversation. A lot of the speakers, because it's all, the podcast is a little spiritual. So it's a little, we'll talk about energy work and stuff like that. Because I think we need, as a society, as a community, we need to talk a little bit about moving that energy. But it's also a little bit motivational. And we all need to hear stories about that, about people who really have overcome. I've had some amazing speakers who have overcome so many things in their life. And then I go, it's a little perspirational. And what I mean by that is you got to do the work. So when you ask me, what happened is, the bad things might happen to us. And what do we want to do is change those things. You got to do the work. We can't just go climb on a mountain and sit and do yoga, and then that's going to change our things. It's actually really releasing the things that we need to do. Find the R's in your heart. I know the R's in my heart. And what that means is there's an R in your heart, but when you ground yourself, and earth and heart are the same letters, just different, spelled differently, obviously. So that's why I always go, if I can ground myself and find the R for today. What is the R? And, like yesterday was a personal struggle for me. So the R was just return to yourself. And then this morning I did. I was able to return, remember who I want to be my most authentic self. And when your most authentic self is another one of those talks I give, is you don't want to be a counterfeit. Be your most authentic self and keep it going.
Wow. Mandy says that she's going to reach out to you. Mandy Robinson lives in Canada, and she does a lot of amazing things, including working with Austin J. Haynes.
Who's an amazing guy.
And his Flashpoint. Yeah. Austin was incredible. He was one of our on the ground in Philly that helped really bring the different pieces of the event together. So true. Ground your
like that for New York, because there's so many places in New York. It really is so powerful to see them differently. I love going into the city every now and then and being a tourist. So, Austin and I talked about how much he loves Philadelphia, and Gordon as well. And there's so many different things. It just is amazing when you get to share that, your neighborhood, your community with others, and make them see the beautifulness of it. Again, it's one of those energy things.
Yeah, there was actually quite a few people that said that they either A, had been to Philly many times, but had not experienced the places that we had taken them to on the VIP experience, or they've been all over the East Coast, but they've never really stopped in Philadelphia. So we provided a great experience for them. David Chametzky, my friend, I know that we could go for another hour if we wanted to. We will be seeing you at the Love event in September. We'll be seeing the book covered. You're going to tease us with the cover first of your new coming book with publisher Ken Rashad, Perfect Publishing. And I'm sure you're going to be, and we're going to see you on Speak Up sometime after October. And there will be many other opportunities that I believe we're going to be doing things together. Probably see you in other media. You've already got articles out there. You're doing all the great things. And I just appreciate you for, sharing your gifts. Like you said, our gifts are not for us, but they're for others. And you are truly the person that is a great example of, playing full out, jumping in, and setting an example for others, even if we don't know what it's always going to be. And I think that that's a big key part of it too. All right, final word.
Thank you, sir. I really mean that. You rock. So my and you're a rock. So seeing you up on the stage, how you led, and you're a rock. You rock in so many different ways. I just really love being around you and the community that you've built, plus other communities. But it really is special. Each one of the people that attended was very special. And I know JR, who still might be driving. We've had lots of conversations. Looking to work together as well. I mean, there's so many opportunities. Thank you for doing that. And from my heart, really, always, everybody, get out of your head, stay into your heart, find what your heart matters, and just find that R in your heart. I know I have, and I thank you for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's your time to shine. It's Christoff J. Weihman from Las Vegas. We've been talking with David Chametzky. What a pleasure. We'll see you again next time.